The 2024 CrossFit Open is officially behind us, and now we look ahead to the rest of the season. The Open wrapped with 24.3, a brutal combo of ascending weight thrusters and gymnastics movements on the pull-up rig. Athletes had to break out their bear complex grips for this one for sure. Next up, quarterfinals. The top 25% of individual women are invited to continue their competition season in the next virtual stage, the quarterfinals. The quarterfinals raise the bar with higher skilled movements and heavier weights, and qualified athletes will complete a series of workouts to see who will make it to the in-person semifinals. So let's take a look at the women to keep an eye on as we head into the women's individual quarterfinal starting on April 17th. Now, joining me now are Tommy Marquez and Chase Ingraham. And of course, we got to start with the woman who is making her return after winning the CrossFit Games 6 times. That is Tia-Clair Toomey.
Yeah, I mean, the big question is her health, right? She came out right before the 24.3 announcement, had to bow out of participating in that. She revealed that she had de Quervain's symptoms in her wrist and was going to kind of play it easy through the rest of the Open. And now everyone looks towards quarterfinals in this format where, you know, competition is going to be a little bit more strict given the fewer spots overall at semifinals. But I think if there's one woman who has proven time and time again that she has the base level fitness to carry forward into this next stage of competition, I think it's Tia-Clair Toomey. I think a lot of people are looking at that wrist injury and seeing the 128 reps that she still put up in 24.3 and is like, that's with a wrist injury? Oh man, if that's the case, then I think she'll be just fine. The general consensus around her injury with regards to timeline is a couple of months to a couple of weeks. Anytime, as long as she's smart about training, it seems like her team is confident that she'll be 100% or at least enough to get to the next round.
That's a big question is, I mean, I've had wrist injuries in the past where I've sprained it in the middle of training for back when I was trying to train to make the CrossFit Games. And it is a hard thing to work around. It limits a lot of things that you can do. And I think at this stage of the game, when you look at the women's field and their improvement year in and year out, it's not just going to be a walk in the park at the CrossFit Games, even if you are 100% healthy. So the question is, how do you manage that injury without losing too much of your baseline fitness? We know her baseline is very, very high. But the question I have too is, will we see history at the CrossFit Games with Tia? Because no champion who has vacated their top spot or lost it has ever come back to reclaim it. You think about Jason Khalipa, Ben Smith, Justin Banderas, now one of those athletes. They never got back to the top. On the women's side, Annie Thorsdottir, Camilla Blanc-Bazinet, and Katrin Davidsdottir. No one has lost it and got it back. So can we see 7 from Tia? Maybe, but can we see someone come back and reclaim their title for the first time? That's what I'm really excited about this year.
Tia Toomey is obviously an athlete that a lot of people know about, but not many people know much about the woman who sits atop the overall leaderboard, the winner of the Open, Miriam van Rwert. Tommy, what do we know about her?
Well, as far as CrossFit competition goes, not much, because she's only competed in the Open 2 times previously, has never competed beyond the Open as far as quarterfinals or semifinals are concerned. But if you start to look into her background and competitive history, there's a lot to be excited about her and her potential overall. She was a gymnast for 10 years and then transitioned over into running the 5K, 10K, and even moving into the marathon for a little bit. Back in 2022, the last time she competed in the Open, she was training at her affiliate, got introduced to High Rocks actually, decided to give it a try. She goes out there, she podiums at Euros and then podiums at the World Championships. Decides, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm going to focus on CrossFit now and some functional fitness. Decides to enter the IF3 World Championships as well. Podiums there. She's only been focusing on CrossFit full time since last summer. So she already has some high-level competition experience in other fitness-related competitions. And now she's focused on CrossFit. And the early results are pretty promising, given that she won the Open overall. She won a workout worldwide. And right now she heads into quarterfinals with a ton of steam and a nice competitive background. And even better, she's only 22. So there's plenty of room to grow and, you know, maybe fulfill some of that potential.
And finally, Ariel Loen, Chase. We haven't seen an American woman on top of the podium at the Games since 2010. She's trying to break that streak here in 2024.
Well, I mean, she has her work cut out ahead of her, but I think we are seeing the best Ariel Loen we have ever had since she really came onto the scene at regionals back in 2014. Finally cracked through the CrossFit Games after 7 years of trying, took a year off, and now she is just on a mission to be the best in the world. She's already the best American female that we have. But what I like about Ariel is that she has such a great, what seems to be life competition balance. She trains at home. She programs for herself. Just the way she has everything. What I would say is like all her boxes are checked so that she can just train, but she's having fun while she's doing it. She just seems like she's really free in the way that she can approach the game season, which I think is a big weapon against maybe some of these athletes that are putting pressure on themselves to finish at a certain place on the leaderboard at the end of the year. That adds an element of could be frustration or stress of the season. I don't see that with Ariel. And the other thing I love about her is that she's 30 years old. And I said this about Yona, she could be entering her prime age as a competitor. Look at some of the 30 to 35-year-old women that we've had compete at the CrossFit Games with massive success. Annie Thorsdottir, Sam Briggs, Christy Eramo, Kristen Holta, and Jamie Simmons. I feel like that's pretty good company in that 30 to 35 realm. So Ariel Loen, with her performance in the Open and what she did last year, again, we could see the best version of her going into 2024.
Quarterfinals begin April 3rd. They run through April 22nd, and you can stay up to date on all the action at games.crossfit.com.